I need the link. And we're live, yes.
All right. We're live, yeah.
We're live.
We're live, guys. Hey, everyone wave.
Let's pick that up on the ladder.
Okay.
Hi, Mom.
Okay.
Sorry for the delays.
How do we know who's on?
Huh?
How do we know?
Let's turn the ladder.
Oh, yeah. So we're not giving a little frame.
Wait, I'd still do that, Michael. Just in case. From back here.
I'm trying to figure
Not
out.
sure if we have any viewers. After all that time, yeah, we might have
That
lost.
would be hilarious, yeah.
Might have lost it.
Somebody have to go on one of the things and say, we're on, we're on.
Yeah, is there like a email blast we can send?
Lorraine, is Lorraine on Instagram?
Yeah.
Somebody can go on whatever other social media.
Yeah.
Say, we're live.
We're live. We're finally live.
Are we live?
Chat window. Don't know where the chat window is.
Let me see if I can find it.
I don't think there's anyone on here. I think it's
There you go.
nice.
Now people can also ask questions.
Now
Hello.
you have to monitor it then. Uh-oh.
This is a live stream to the YouTube. There's no one on there. 20 minutes ago, maybe. Is there like a email blast we could send out?
Like, oh, starting now. Click the link.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Anything.
Hit the tab and go to the next one. Okay, everybody ready? All right. Well, but that one, I got, she said tab.
Okay, the arrow,
Tab or do
over
I
arrow,
do it?
either way. If she says tab, you can hit tab, but I've been using the arrow.
Who knows?
You're up. Use the
Welcome to the Pan Aqua Pro Night. So the point of tonight is to answer everybody's questions, regardless of where your diving, I hate this word, but I'm gonna say it anyway, journey is. Some people might just wanna be ready for rescue, some people wanna do Master Diver, some people wanna do Dive Master, some people wanna cross the bridge and go all the way to instructor. So hopefully by the end of tonight, our staff is all here. We have a lot of people at a lot of different stages of their PADI journey. And from the people who were here last year, sitting where everybody is, and are now dive masters, to this gentleman, our honorary instructor, is Gary Sullivan. And he was here before any of you were born. So we've been doing this for a whole long time. He is an amazing, he's still active instructor. So for the people who are young at heart, you can do this for a very long time. I made my sort of decision to become an instructor in Grand Cayman at Sunset House, which wasn't called Sunset House then, it was called Casa Bertmar. Their little sign said, "Where wet dreams I was standing there, it was my first Caribbean island trip, and there was
What do you mean flip?
a gentleman named Ira who's in the water,
It's
and he
mirrored.
was trying, this was big, bad, boiling water, and he was trying to do a rescue thing, not very successfully, and I went, yeah, I think I can do this, it sounds like fun. And I, at that point, sort of made the decision.
Flip horizontal.
And became dive master, assistant instructor, and lo these many years, I'm still here, and I have sort of, the younger folks do more of the teaching now, but I end up doing a lot of the equipment repair and helping out when all things go awry. I describe myself as the chief cook and bottler. So that is how, and I have been doing this, we were trying to count earlier, I've been diving for 56 years, I'm just telling you I'm old, and I've been an instructor for 40, okay, so a very long time. Gary and I are sort of in the same group. So hopefully tonight you'll get all your questions asked and you can find and slot in where you feel you want to. The nice thing about the diving world is it varies. When I think of all the people who used to work here and went off, we had people live on liveaboards, people go to resorts, people who are, tons of our people have been in the aquarium doing that stuff. So I'm gonna hit the slide because I think I need, the question is, this is, was this Willow Springs? So, which we did a lot during the pandemic or during the time when Hydro wasn't up. So with that in mind, let me tell you who the cast of characters is tonight. Karen, who sort of runs, Karen and Catherine and Michael, who sort of run the whole program, especially with Dive Master, are each gonna take a slot. There's, Sean's gonna talk a little bit about the IDCs. I'm the sort of master of ceremonies. And then we have a whole bunch of people here just to answer your questions. We have Leah, we have Madeline. We have Sam. These are Jay, Alex, and back to Leah again. And those are all the folks who are here tonight. Hey, you deserve double. And everybody's here, and they'll either be speaking or answering questions. And as I said, I've been doing this forever, so I probably can answer a few questions myself. And with that, I am going to start the show with none other than the great Karen.
So I was gonna start this also by telling you a little bit about my becoming of a PADI Pro. And interestingly, when I did my Dive Master course, which now is 21 years ago, Gary and Lorraine were both involved in that. Yes. So I've been diving for coming up on 25 years now. Became a dive master in year 4 of that progress, and then an instructor in year 18. I think there's basically 2 ways of approaching becoming a dive master. You can do this for yourself. You know, it's gonna increase your skill level. It's gonna give you greater experience and greater confidence, and that's all some people want to achieve with it. Or you can use it as a conduit to teaching, which was my journey, to use that word again. Either one is great. You know. For me personally, I found that I really love introducing people to the underwater world and seeing them grow as divers and deal with challenges and becoming better from one dive to the next, especially at the open water level, so that's extremely gratifying. But I also found over the years as a scuba instructor that it has become part of my identity. So yeah, it's something that people know about me. It's a conversation starter. It's how I spent a great deal of my time. And yeah, so it's not just what I do, it's become part of who I am. So that's kind of how I got into all of this. The other aspect that I love about diving is that you're never perfect at it. That's what keeps us going back into the ocean. You can get really good at buoyancy control or navigation or underwater photography, but it's a lifelong process. So that appeals to me personally, and after 25 years of diving, I still learn, I still seek out opportunities for training, and I also learn from my students every once in a while, so there's always that. So diving can transform, and I would venture shape your lifestyle. There are a lot of ways of engaging with this. You can use it because you love to travel. There's work opportunities around the world. You can approach it from a conservation standpoint. You can use it through the community aspect. I actually find that I've met very few divers who I didn't like. So it tends to be a pretty nice bunch of people who are engaged in the sport. You can be an instructor or dive master because you like the physical aspect of it or the outdoorsy nature of the work. You can use it to transform other people's lives and, as I said before, to just get your own skills to a really high level. Joseph Campbell said it best: follow your bliss and the universe will open doors for you where before there were only walls. So by doing more of what you feel passionate about, you can discover that more rewarding and purposeful life. Obviously, we wouldn't be complete tonight without a PADI video, so here goes. The obligatory gesture here. So, live the dream. Why be the person on the left if you could be one of the people on the right? That's the dive deck on the Dolphin Dream. We used to book that liveaboard every October to go shark diving in the Bahamas. So that's just one example of what you can do as a dive master or a dive professional in general. So I've given you my answer to why teach PADI. Basically because I'm a scuba instructor. Catherine is going to lay out for you a little bit more what it takes to get to that springboard where you transition from being a recreational diver to becoming a PADI Pro. So I'll hand it off here.
Hey everybody, I'm Catherine. We haven't met. I know a few faces. Thank you for coming to hear us speak for the new faces. Some of the benefits of becoming a PADI Pro is that the system is there for you. PADI is supportive of its instructors and its dive masters to give you things to work with. You're not making it up on your own. We are recognized around the world. PADI is an international organization, and there are over 6,600 dive shops where you can apply your trade if this is what you decide to do. So, your next steps. I always like to think about what I can do today that my future self will thank me for. So this is something that I hope is rewarding, and your future self will thank you for coming and listening to us tonight. Let's talk about the path to Master Scuba Diver. We know we start with open water, we move to AOW, and then we get to rescue, and then you need 5 specialties to become a Master Scuba Diver. Is anybody here not open water? Is anybody just open water? Great, we got the right people. Obviously, we get our first step into diving, we learn about the dive community, we can fall in love with the ocean and learn how to protect it, especially with those PADI Aware courses. Advanced Open Water Diver, or as we call it around here, Open Water 2.0. A lot of people go, oh, well, I'm not advanced, I can't do that course yet. This is what we're trying to help you do. You're gonna get the skills to become a better diver. So that's what AOW is to us. And then something near and dear to my heart, the PADI Rescue Diver course. I know a couple of you have been in, so thank you for coming back from those. I know open water divers or people who don't dive think of the rescue diver as being James Bond. They show up and they, save the day. They zip off their wetsuit and they, save the person, stop the bad guys from doing. But in my mind, everything that James Bond does to stop the bad guys, to stop the bad things from happening, are because he's got the right tools or toys from his buddy Q. And Q is really important to him so that he has those tools to work. If you think about somebody who's on a dive trip and they're putting on their gear and maybe they haven't used it in a while and maybe it's not in the best repair and they put their mask on, their mask straps snaps. They go, oh, I'm gonna have to miss the whole dive because I broke my mask strap. But then they go, or maybe I could just get in and I could just hold my mask on with one hand. That'd be fine, right? His buddy agrees, oh yeah, that'll be fine, just hold it on with one finger, you'll be fine. Well, they're sitting next to a rescue diver who can hear this conversation going on, and they can already think beyond the first step of, okay, if you're holding it on with one hand, then there's probably a little more water in your mask than there used to be, and if you've got it on with one hand, maybe it's kind of hard to check your gauges, and now stuff is happening, and it starts to snowball, and then they're not checking their gauges, and then their mask falls off, and then they get a little panicked, and now we've got a full-blown dive incident going on. Luckily, that rescue diver has their little Save a Dive kit. Now, what's in that Save a Dive kit? Okay, there's some bits, and I've got some toothpaste to clean masks, and a couple of tools, and some double dog clips for my things, and oh, the right tool for the right thing. That rescue diver says, would this be more helpful? And our diver puts it on and they have a good dive. And everybody has a good dive. And nothing goes out of control. Nobody ends up on oxygen or needing a chamber ride. Rescue diver really heightens your understanding and lets you think further out. It's not just you and your mask. It's you're thinking about the other people on the dive and the things that you can do to stop things from going wrong before they turn bad. So, PADI talks about the rescue diver course as being serious fun. Yes, we learn to manage dive incidents, but we also anticipate emergencies before they happen. This is where you really become a better diver and challenge yourself and open up to start looking out for more than just yourself when you're on the dive boat. So, that's why I like and am proud to be a part of the Rescue Diver program and moving on to the Dive Master program as well. Any questions about the Rescue Diver course? Okay, great. I'm going to hand it off to Maddie, who's going to talk about something different.
So after you complete your rescue certification, you have two choices. Sort of like you would when you hit the end of a chapter in one of those old choose your own adventure novels. You can either flip to the next page and start the Master Scuba Diver journey, or skip about 20 pages ahead and go on to the PADI professional route with Dive Master. But Master Scuba Diver is also a choose your own adventure story of its own, because there are so many ways to approach what being a Master Scuba Diver is. It's our highest credential for recreational diving ranks. This is the ultimate recreational scuba certification, but what it means, well, you've got to meet the minimum age to be a Master Scuba Diver. You need to be an advanced open water and rescue dive certified diver, have at least 50 log dives, and you need to have 5 PADI distinctive or specialty certifications in any fields that you choose. You just need to make sure that you have all 5. You've experienced some of these during the Advanced Open Water course. If you've taken AOW, you know that you do the first dive of 5 different dive specialties as part of that course, and that sort of gives you an idea of where you might want to start for Master Scuba Diver. Some of your decisions might also be determined by what you're interested in for where you dive. If you dive locally here with us in the Northeast, you're probably going to want to pick up dry suit diver at some point. That can count as one of your 5 dive specialties for Master Scuba Diver. Once you've completed all of those requirements, you have your 50 log dives, you've met your ST certification obligation and you have your 5 dive specialties, you'll work with a local PADI Master Scuba Dive trainer like myself, submit that application to your PADI regional headquarters and go ahead and get the, black belt of recreational scuba diver, which is that Master Scuba Diver rating. But if you chose instead to go off onto the professional route and become a dive master, we've got a much longer path for you before you hit that ultimate final rank. And I'm going to go ahead and pass off to Michael to talk to you about the Dive Master program.
I'm only just going to interrupt for 1 second just to say the Master Scuba Diver requires 5 specialties, but that doesn't mean that you have to stop there. You can, of course, collect them all and trade with your friends. Just keep it in mind.
Thank you. We all have a lot of those. She's not the only one. Okay. Welcome. My name is Michael. I've been a dive master instructor with PADI now for 14-ish years. I am a PADI baby. Okay. The meat of what we want to talk about tonight is Dive Master program. What is a dive master? Let me explain to you how I found out what a dive master is. You're going out for your charter dives, just hanging out. You see at the end of the day, people are grabbing tanks, throwing them back up, helping another diver out on something they don't understand. And someone walked past me and they went, "Dive master." I go back out following week. I'm helping out again, loading the tanks up. Person comes by me, "Dive master." What the hell is a dive master? I had no idea. Once I found out what a dive master was, and I became one, it was the things that I was doing, the things I enjoyed doing, helping out, making sure that you're having a good day, a good dive. So, Dive Master program is your first level to becoming a PADI Pro. And as you saw the little screen before, Dive Master is the first thing. Open water scuba instructor, specialty instructor, master scuba diver training, IDC staff, master instructor, and then the primo course director. So, what you want to do with your dive mastering, you want to gain knowledge, you want to gain inspiration, you want to be able to inspire someone else to do what it is you're doing because you enjoy it. That's the first thing. Second thing you have to do, you gotta love the tanks. I am not gonna lie, you have to love the tanks. If you don't love the tanks, you can't help. Okay? So what we want to do is make sure that as you gain your knowledge, you also gain inspiration. The best thing you can do is have someone come up to you and say, "Thank you. You've made my day a good day." Okay? So, that means that then they are looking at you as a leader. It's up to you to set the program. It's up to you to give the program a good name. So then, once you start improving on your own skills and knowledge, then you can feel confident that you're becoming a pro. What are the prerequisites? You have to do 40 log dives to begin. You have to be AOW certified and rescue diver certified. And you also have to have a current EFR, Emergency First Responder certification. Now, you can begin the program with 40 dives. But in order to complete the program, you have to have 60 dives logged. If you're under 19, say 18 years of age minimum, that's a requirement for you becoming a dive master. If you're younger and 15 years, we can give you a junior dive master certification. Any questions? So think of this as being your first step to being a PADI Pro. And with that comes pride. You are the one who will make the difference. Any questions?
What was your most rewarding experience as a diver?
My most rewarding experience. Oh boy, how many? I would honestly say, I had a student come up to me at the end of the day and said it was such a pleasure working with you that I never wanted to come out of the water. That is the biggest compliment you could ever get. You know, don't get me wrong, it's hard work, but that hard work is worth it. You have to show up. You have to be willing. And as long as you end the day with a smile on your face, you did a good job. Welcome and good luck.
Thank you.
So Sam Raven is one of the dive masters who went through our program last year, and he wanted to say a few words.
Thanks for having me. It's good to see some familiar faces and meet some new people as well. My name's Sam Raderman, and I'm one of the newer dive masters. We've got a whole cast of characters in the back here. So I just figured it would be nice if I came by tonight if anybody had any questions just about our experiences with the Dive Master program from some recent graduates of the program. So we're all here, myself, Jay, Alex, and Leah. We're happy to answer any questions. And it was interesting, I was listening to Karen and Catherine and Michael speak. I signed up for the program entirely for selfish purposes. I wanted to do it just to become a better diver. I had no intentions whatsoever of going the route of it starting to become sort of a conduit into teaching. It's sort of an interesting role because while you're not exactly teaching skills, you're assisting with the teaching. And I sort of have a background, I'm a musician as my day job, and part of that I teach. So it was something I didn't want to have anything to do with my teaching life. I didn't think that would be of interest to me. So it was kind of for selfish reasons. And we started doing the class, in the first part of the Dive Master course, you're really working on a lot of your fundamental skills. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is exactly what I'm here for. I'm screwing everything up, and they're helping me get it together. And the instructors were relentless in a good way. I remember one night, I felt like a toddler at some points, because I'm like, okay, I'm pretty good at this. I've been doing this for a while. I've been diving for about 8 years. And we were supposed to demonstrate an oral inflate hover, and Karen was just, I must have done it like 20 times, but the feeling you get when you get it, and then you can do it over and over again, it's just like the best feeling in the world. Same thing happened, we had to do some navigations. We were out in Dutch Strings. I've always been terrible at navigating, and I've always kind of kept it to myself, like, man, how are these dive masters and these instructors doing this so well? And just kind of being like, all right, I won't let anyone know that I have no idea what I'm doing. So we had to do it in our open water skills. I went out, I did it with Jay and Alex. They went out, they came back. I went out, Alex was like my wingman. I didn't come back. So finally popped up to the surface, and I said to myself, you know what, I should probably take that navigation specialty. But it was great because I found a weakness and then I was able to address that. And I was just in Bon Air with my wife and I felt very, very confident. Just, you know, I wasn't doing any courses, but I felt totally confident doing a night dive where we had to navigate out and then come back. And I can't, it's, you know, when you find something that you're passionate about, when you get better and feel more confident, there's no better feeling. So moving a little bit ahead in the course, we started doing the assists while we're still dive master candidates. So assisting, and that's where I met some of you guys actually, so it's great to see you again. And I just couldn't believe how much I enjoyed it. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. I would have never thought that, you know, this aspect of the dive master, because I really signed up and I was like, you know what, probably never see these people again. Do the class, go on my merry way. And not only am I trying to sign up to assist in as many classes as I can now, but I also, like, these guys are my friends. We hang out all the time. So
Not
it's,
all of us.
yeah, so I've become really close with like a lot of the other people that I did the class with. And I've absolutely loved assisting all the classes I've had the chance to assist and do the my favorite program probably to do is the refresher courses where people that are already certified are coming in and then you're helping them refresh their skills and making them more confident to continue their diving journey. So that's my story, sticking to it. I'll be around if you want to ask any questions. So thanks for having me, guys.
Okay, I'm gonna make a reappearance here to talk to you about costs of the program. Last year we struggled to define that ahead of time, but this year we got our act together. So there's a couple of aspects to this. There's the e-learning, and the crew pack means you get a bunch of slates that help you with what you can teach later. Basically your checklists for conducting reactivate courses and refreshers and all of that good stuff. So the first part there, e-learning and crew pack, that is one aspect of the cost that right now runs $489. And then for the pool instruction, we're going to speak about that in a little bit more detail later, but the idea is you're going to have 6 nights in the pool where you're working on demonstration quality skills. There's a set of 24 of those. You're going to do some workshops, and there's a bunch of water skills that are timed for the most part. So for the 6 nights, that's going to be a $595 charge, and that's what you would pay up front to enter the program. And then, as Sam said, further down the road, you have your open water portion. If you do it locally, it will entail 3 weekends at Lake Hydra. You will spend 1 weekend assisting an open water class. You will spend the 2nd weekend assisting an advanced open water or rescue class. And then the 3rd weekend is what we call the Dive Master weekend. There you're working with one of the instructors to do things like your mapping project and some workshops and sort of other things that entire weekend, so you get a lot of diving in for that. So the 2 weekends where you're assisting classes, you pay for the entrance into Lake Hydra, which is about $65 a day, and you pay for transportation and tank fills, etc. So that generally comes out in the $330 range if you're not needing to rent any gear. If you own all your own stuff, that's what it's going to be. The Dive Master weekend is a little bit more expensive because you'll also be contributing to paying your instructor, so that runs closer to $700. So it averages out to about $450 per weekend, and those you pay as you go. So we'll schedule you for your assists, and then you show up and go out to do that. So basically you have the upfront charges and then 3 charges down the road for your 3 weekends. The alternative would be to do your assists and your DM weekend on a trip. Like the Mexico trip lends itself to that because we often do training as as part of that. So you'd have the trip cost and probably a little bit besides that. The last Mexico trip we ran, we charged $16.69, I believe. So it's gonna come out in the same ballpark as the Lake Hydro units. So all in, figure you're gonna end up pretty close to $2,500. And now I'm gonna hand it off to Sean so he can talk about why to become an instructor.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks everybody for coming out, and thanks everybody for tuning in on YouTube. Why would anybody want to become an open water instructor? Because it's awesome, it's fun, it's very rewarding, okay? Again, you get to share your passion, you know? It's like you love the sport if you've gotten it this far. I was super into it. I was a dive master for way too long, probably 14 years in fact. Then finally decided to step up and become an instructor. But I love the sport so much that I can remember the names of every single instructor since my original one and through all of my specialties all along the way, because they've really changed my life in a positive way. All right? And you get paid.
Just a second. My name is Jim Peterson. I'm the owner of the store. All these guys. One of the best dive stores, I think. Certainly in the metropolitan area, and one of the top ones nationally. With Gary Sullivan, one of our instructors from many, many years ago, to Lorraine and everyone. They make Panopta what it is. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, you get paid to do what you like to do. All right, that's always a good thing. Plus, you usually get discounts on gear. And you can travel around the world. You can work around the world. You don't just have to be an instructor here in New York. Okay? We've got guide instructors that work in the Dominican Republic for a few months each year. We have one down in Mexico right now that works for a few months each year. So it really travels well. In fact, PADI assistant instructors and instructors are the most sought out dive people in the world because it's spread out that wide. Okay? And like Sam said, you make a lot of friends. You meet a lot of people. I recognize a lot of the faces in the crowd today. I've probably worked with you at some point along the way. Even you, maybe. Long time ago. Yeah, and you just get to promote the underwater world. When I first got into it, I thought I was going to be this tech diver. Oh, I'm going to do wrecks. I'm going to cave. But no, give me a camera, give me a reef. And I decided I'd be a photographer, and that way I could show people that I know that haven't dove or aren't that interested in it, photos of what they're missing. Try to help lure them in. So, to make the step from dive master to instructor, you have to go through what's called the IDC, the Instructor Development Course. During this is where you're going to work with a course director. Okay, our current course director here is Frank Boquero, who's not here tonight, but and also staff instructors. And what they're going to do is teach you how to help and work with the students. Dive master is a lot about honing your skills in order to help people. IDC, it's honing your skills to work with the students. You're going to learn to recognize their strengths and their weaknesses. And when you're teaching them the skills, you're going to learn to quickly recognize if they're doing something wrong with their skills, especially things that might be dangerous to the students. Okay, student safety is always number one. All right? You're going to learn how to prepare lessons properly. Okay? So that, and I encourage people, once you become a dive master, don't just rush right into instructor. A lot of people do that. You know, PADI's okay with that. But I think you should work for a year or two and actually sit in, like Sam said, he comes and sits in on the classes and stuff. And the more classes you sit in with more instructors, you'll start to pick up different things from different instructors that you like to use, and you'll form your different way of teaching. Karen and I take a lot of stuff from each other, but the way she teaches and the way I teach are pretty different, even though we're pushing the same PADI message. Okay? After you do the IDC, then you're going to have to do the examination. So that takes place over 2 days. Locally, we used to do it at Dutch Springs, which is now Lake Hydra, which just reopened last year. So I'm not too clear exactly on where they're going to do the IDCs or the examinations going forward. But the examination's 2 days. 1 day is totally indoors. Okay, you're going to do tests about dive theory, physiology, and then and PADI standards. Okay, and then you're going to have to do presentations. All right. Then they're going to take you in a pool and assess some of your skills in working with the students. Then the next day, you go out into the open water, and they'll have you do, teach a couple of skills, look for problems with the students. You'll do your Rescue 7 and some other skills out there, and then you become a scuba instructor. Yay! And here's the instructor's creed, okay? As a scuba instructor, I have the opportunity to see fear changed into courage, faint-heartedness converted into accomplishment, timidity transformed into confidence, and anticipation turned into passion. Okay? I love this because I get the most reward out of students that have the most trouble at the start. Okay, when you really get to see them work through issues, work through problems, and then finally become a diver, it's amazing. The grade students, nice to work with. You don't have any issues in the pool or anything, but they're going to be good divers and probably dive masters eventually or something like that. Fear changed into courage. I can't tell you how many times I've stood at the edge of the pool with somebody in tears for 10 minutes before they start working their way into it. I actually worked with a gentleman for 2 years pretty much, off and on over months, and last summer we finally got him certified. And it felt great. Okay? As a scuba instructor, I can open hearts to the hidden beauty of nature's creation and our obligation to protect it, foster self-esteem in another person, teach the value of character and integrity, and transform another human being and change their life for the better and forever. And as I said, again, I remember every instructor I had because they truly did change my life. Anybody have any questions? No? All right. Thank you.
So that's it. You got the idea how to start, how to finish. You can stop along the way. You can take branches out and make it your own. You can do all of these things. Sean didn't quite do that, but there are specialty instructors. You learn how to do all that stuff, and you can do it anywhere. But I think if you've listened to us and you've also heard us give each other crap tonight, you have probably picked up the fact that we're a family, okay? And if you go to other places, you find that they're families too, and the families kind of merge. And we live in this world right now where everybody talks about loneliness and aloneness, and you turn on the news and you run under your bed and go, no, and it's all screens, and it's all sadness, and it's all problems. And then you come here, it's a third place, it's cheers, everybody knows your name. We have a community that is just, and we all goof on each other, and we all kind of shake our heads. But at the end of the day, we are a family. And when people a lot of times become dive masters, they end up being part of our family. And in this day, in this world, that's super important. So we have all the information, we have all the people out here. You can even make a little money, it's gonna be a lot, but you're gonna have a whole lot. So if you have any questions, we're all here, and I think that's the end of the show.
Thanks very much, Larry. So if you are interested in the Dive Master program, we do have some flyers that you can take, fill in some of the information if it wasn't completely clear, and obviously you've got new dive masters and a lot of instructors to talk to if you have any questions. Thanks very much for coming out. And thank you for
It's like one person.
Bye.
Everybody hope to
Hi
learn.
guys.
Everybody hope to learn.
Bye.